Alright, I've been on iOS for 3 weeks and I just want to talk about the inefficient ways Apple have chosen to get things done. Let's get started with the notification panel and control panel. First up, I do not see a reason for my camera to be accessible through my control panel, through my notification panel. This is horrible. This is horrible. On Android, if you access your notification panel for some reason and you wanted to go to your control panel, you can just easily switch between the two. That's the way it should be done. I have a flashlight here and I still have a flashlight here. That's not good. That is very inefficient. Speaking of control panel, let's say you want to add a control. This looks fairly basic. You just select add a control and select the control. Select add a control again and select the control. That is the inefficiency. Over here, you just select all the controls you need, and then when you are done, you are done. You don't have to. What if I had to scroll and now I have to? No. That is that's terrible. That is inefficient. Now let's talk about the app. 99.9% of us open at least once a day, and it's your settings. Easy access to settings is very necessary because we all open this app at least a couple of times. On Android, there is your settings. You can access your settings from the settings. It doesn't matter what app you're in. You have easy access to your settings. On Android, if you're on a random app, for example, you have to leave that app, find your settings, and open it. Or you can choose to use the rather inconvenient app drawer if you're interested in that. Now, let's talk about brightness. This is the brightness settings, brightness control. It's okay. But on Android over here, that is auto brightness. That we all use, but sometimes we want to turn off because it just gets annoying. Especially on Android, especially on iOS that has no game mode that can lock your brightness. So if you want to access auto brightness, you should come to display and brightness, because that's where it is on Android. Display and brightness, and right there you have auto brightness. Not the same here. Auto brightness is all the way accessibility, display and text size, and then it is the last option. For something that is very inconsistent on iOS even than it is on Android, the auto brightness should have easier access. Let's talk about something even more annoying, the volume. On iOS, you have one volume for everything. Music, audio, alarm, ringtones, notifications. It's just one volume. That's not how things should be done. Look at this. Oops. Look at this. I have a separate volume for my media because I don't like to listen to loud music, and my ringtone because I want to know when my phone rings. Alarms because they can be annoying. Or notifications because they can be annoying too. And then alarms, all different volumes. And to take that even further, separate volumes for different apps. This is the Instagram volume, and as you can see, I can reduce or increase the volume specifically for Instagram, regardless of the media volume, which also works for Instagram. That's perfect. That is the way things should be done, that is efficient. Now let's talk about yeah, you guessed it, the keyboard. As you can see, I use the Dvorak, I guess that's how it's pronounced, layout, and I'm very big on efficiency. I type very fast. I just want to get things done immediately. I'm a power user. On iOS, this is the best I can do with my keyboard. Whereas over here, I have my keyboard set at a specific height for maximum efficiency, travel time and all that across each keys. You get here, this is the best I can do. This is the only size, and the special characters are a lot harder to access because there is no press and hold, and over here there is press and hold, including setting the duration of the press and hold because I need it to be very, very, very short. So that's my touch and hold duration at the lowest possible because I just like my keyboard to be this is rather than this very long press and hold, as you can see there. Not for me, it takes too much time. Okay, let's talk YouTube. See, for example, you're watching a video on YouTube and you want to watch in landscape mode. Unless you have auto rotate on, you can't switch the landscape you're watching the video in. This is a YouTube video. It's a video. You should be able to switch landscapes irregardless of auto rotate being on or not. But you can't do that. You have to have auto rotate turned on before you can switch the landscapes. That's inefficient. And then once you leave the YouTube, that is when you can finally turn off auto rotate. Over here, auto rotate is off, as you can see. Auto rotate is on, auto rotate is off. But while watching a YouTube video, auto rotate doesn't have to be on or off for me to be able to switch the landscape in which I am watching the video on. That is efficient. That is the way things should be done. And speaking of YouTube, picture in picture, because we do this some of the time. You can allow picture in picture stay on anywhere on your screen on Android because it's picture in picture and it should be where you want it to be. Over here, picture in picture can only stay on the edges of your screen. On the edges. You can't leave it in the middle of your screen for some inexplicable reason. That is just highly inefficient. These are just some of the bugs that I have noticed, and I cannot continue to use iOS. They were just a minimum and I can't even remember all right now, but